Hello guys, welcome to this new video. Today I want to show you how to set up a high converting website and talk about the most important aspects and show you some examples of well-designed websites that are currently making over 6 figures or 7 figures online. And most of these aspects are actually out for a new book, An Antidote to the 9-to-5 Way of Life. So make sure to check that out if you want a more detailed version of this whole process of starting your first website. Now, before we get into the actual designing part, I'll quickly lay out a foundation that you can build upon basically. Now, the first thing you have to consider when starting out is what platform to choose. There are a lot of possibilities nowadays, such as Squarespace, WooCommerce, Shopify, BigCommerce or Wix. We always recommend to go with Shopify because we found out that they have the most detailed setup process and you can easily connect everything to the website. I know that's the case with the other platforms as well, but Shopify is just our go-to platform. Now, you have to make up your mind about a brand name and logo before, because basically your favicon or your logo will be embedded on your website and be visible to everyone who visits the site. So that's something you have to make your mind up beforehand. It should be short, catchy and relevant to your niche, of course. You can also include colors like, green sofa or yellow dwarf, for example. I don't know, I just came up with that, but you see where I'm going with this. So you also make sure the domain is available by simply Googling it beforehand. And then you can buy the domain through Shopify or GoDaddy, for example. Other things you have to pay attention to is installing the Facebook channel on your Shopify dashboard, and also connecting your business manager and Pixel. This is very important for gathering data that you can then use for advertising on Facebook and Instagram. The same goes for the Google Analytics code. This one is still on the preference tab. The other one is an action channel you have to add to your overall Shopify dashboard, as mentioned. Then you have to go through the payment processors. I always recommend to use Shopify Payments, PayPal, and that's basically it. Shopify Payments offers a huge variety of credit cards and you should be good to go with that. People always ask if it's necessary to have PayPal on your store, and while the obvious answer is no, it's still helpful because a lot of people trust PayPal and they made it very secure to basically shop online. So I know the struggle with PayPal and that they often hold funds, but it's definitely an advantage if you have it on your store. Then you have to go through the settings in great detail. We did an exact layout on what you have to actually checkmark when going through the settings in our book, but I will quickly just go over it here. You have to add the terms of service, privacy policy, legal notice, refund policy, shipping information and about us for just some legitimacy on your store. You can also erase the created by Shopify or on Shopify. I don't know how it's exactly worded, but that's something Shopify implemented in the footer section of each website. You can basically go on the code and just erase it. Then you have to check the tax, shipping, notification, checkout, billing, legal and general settings in Shopify. This is just to lay the foundation as mentioned previously. Furthermore, connecting social media channels is very good because everyone who lands on your website will inevitably sooner or later check out your Instagram page or Facebook page for some social proof. So if you're active on that, definitely include it on your website. Then you have to choose a theme for your website. We always recommend Debut, Brooklyn or Venture for the free themes, but I will come to that on the next slide, I think. And then you have to add your products, discount codes and additional apps if necessary. The additional apps we recommend are for email marketing, Klaviyo, MailChimp, OmniSend, GetResponse or Privy. Email marketing is very important because that's basically the back end and to discover abandoned carts. So it just creates additional revenue, which is very, very useful when starting out your first business or in general just running a business. Then we recommend you have something set up for reviews. Product reviews, Looks, Ali reviews, Yotpo are all great apps to use. It's very simple to set up. Then you should have something in place for upsells. Reconvert, in-cart upsell or bold upsell, everything works. Upsells are basically something you offer as a sort of something to generate more revenue in the checkout process. So if something adds, I don't know, a bicycle to their cart, you can get them an additional cup holder or a light, basically as a small upsell. And if they are likely to check out, they are likely to just add that to the cart as well. Then you can additionally or optionally install currency converters, push notifications, crush pics, or landing page editors, for example. Landing page editors just make your website look more clean, or you have more options to design it, basically. Crush pics is for making your picture smaller and increasing the loading speed of your website. You can also use the website tiny.png to crush your pics or make them smaller without them losing actual quality. Push notifications is basically something like this and this person shopped or just bought this and this item in Australia or something like that. It creates a bit social proof, but it's definitely not a necessity. And the currency converter is just something very convenient to have, because it, as you can imagine, just translates or converts the currencies. If you're shopping from, I don't know, India or the US or Europe, you all have different currencies, and this just sets them up correctly for your country. Then if we get to actually designing your website, it's very important to have no language or grammatical errors on your page, because this is just a no-go. Use keyword-rich text and stay relevant to your niche when writing, I don't know, blog articles or descriptions, for example, or in general about us pages or designing your homepage, giving some information to the customer. If you actually happen to have grammatical errors or language mistakes on your website, that just builds huge distrust on the prospect side and is not recommended at all. So you should just install some Chrome extension that checks everything for those errors, and you can just correct them. As mentioned, Debut, Brooklyn, Venture, or paid themes, Shoptimized or Turbo are great options for starting out with your first website. And the most important links and navigation should be included in the header section. This is basically the first section or the top layer of your website homepage. Or in general, if you just click on a product page, it's also, the header section is always visible. So just set up your pages in the Pages tab on your Shopify dashboard and you're good to go with that. The other important links I would put in the footer menu, such as terms of service and privacy policy, for example. And then when we get to the actual imagery or colors of the website, it's super important to use high quality imagery, congruent imagery, and light and complementing colors. You don't want to use strong colors because they hurt the eye and scare at first sight. So if you have like a alarming red tone, it's obviously not that pleasing to look at in comparison to like a lighter tone in red. You can take pictures yourself, use stock footage from Unsplash, for example, or hire someone to take product pictures, for example. Your product pictures should definitely be congruent throughout every product you have. So if it's like a white background, that's great. If you have like an apparel store, you should always have the same model or choose between 10 of the same models, for example. And then the background can be whatever. It's like a street wall or some plants in the back. That's not the matter. It's about the t-shirt and the people who wear it, basically. You can use canva.com or Photoshop or Lightroom for editing pictures. There are a ton of other softwares out there. You can even use video editing softwares to edit everything. I've also done that as well. We always use DaVinci. It's pretty nice to use and has a lot of room to play. And the most important aspect of everything basically on your website is your offer and your product page. Your offer should be unbeatable, of course, because then you will leave the competition behind. And potential prospects will first interact with your offer on the ad level or marketing level when they see your ad. But that's only the case if you're like actually dependent on running marketing ads. Because if you use SEO for organic traffic, for example, they will just land on your website and then you have to convince them there. Either way, you have to do convincing of if it's on the ad level or if it's on your website or if it's on your landing page or product page. You always have to convince them to actually buy the product because it's an unbeatable offer. The basic stuff is selecting shipping prices and sizes and variants, if you have them. This is all done on the product page when actually adding a product on Shopify. And then the description is basically similar to an ad copy. You have to be persuasive. People buy their way out of something rather than into something. So you have to connect on an emotional level. If they have like certain pain points or fears in their lives and you can basically help them with their problems, then you should use strong adjectives and wording and talk about their pain points. Maybe say, I've experienced this as well. And this is the same structure that we use for our advertising as well, or our landing pages. You always have to sympathize with them and then slowly but surely lead them down the slippery slope and tell them that this offer has helped me and other people, and we guarantee it will help you as well. To support this persuasiveness, use GIFs or additional pictures in the description as well. You can also, of course, add pictures in general that are showcased, but you can also put them in the description. And this gives a greater incentive to buy actually, because pictures speak more than 1,000 words. You know the saying. And depending on your product, the description can be short or long. If it needs explaining, of course, you can make it a bit longer and create the slippery slope. But if it's just some basic clothing, you can basically say it's organically made in the United Kingdom or something. And we care a lot about the materials and that we ship out everything organically or something like that. You know, just present your values and why you think your clothing line is special in comparison to others. You have to basically convey a message of your brand and consider what are your why, how and what. I've also talked about this in great detail in our book and also on our Instagram page actually. Start uploading on social media, do podcasts, write blog posts, etc. Just talk about what's your brand's message, why you are doing this and how you plan to do it. So these are some examples of good websites and I will quickly go through them and show you everything. And yeah, you can basically get some inspiration from them. Guys, nonetheless, I want to keep you in mind that this is just the very basic stuff of building a highly converting website. We've done in great detail a complete guide on building your first landing page and completing your high-performing funnel in our book. And there are 18 to 20 steps that the customer has to take before they make a purchase. So you can of course structure your descriptions like that, but keep in mind that there is a lot more going into this if you're just starting out and don't already have established your brand, you know? And I will also separate this whole topic into 2 videos. This is the first one where I've just talked about how you should structure your whole website and basically design everything. And in the next episode we will take a look at the websites. And I hope you will find some golden nuggets from there and you can implement them on the website afterwards. Sounds like a great deal. So, as mentioned, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.